What's up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. So, Frank Castle, the Punisher, the man who made 3 deals with 3 of Marvel's biggest and most evil devils to become not only a Ghost Rider sworn to Mephisto, not only a herald of Galactus, not only the black right hand of Thanos, but the cosmic Ghost Rider. A being of phenomenal cosmic power without the itty-bitty living space situation is going to be a key figure in the forthcoming Guardians of the Galaxy relaunch by Donny Cates. Plus, Marvel just teased he'll be instrumental in the destruction of the history of the Marvel Universe. And in this video, I'm going to tell you one way he's already done it by making Thanos more dangerous than he was before. But before we get started, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click. And when old Frank Castle got mixed by Silver Surfer during the penultimate issue of the Thanos Wins story arc, also by Donny Cates, he finally got to reach those pearly gates once and for all, only they weren't the pearly gates where his dead family await. He's in Valhalla, courtesy of Odin, who personally allowed him upon those hallowed grounds for fallen warriors in good standing, and at great expense to the space-time continuum to do so. Considering that Frankie Boy comes from the dead end of time, and this is the Odin of the present. But Frank isn't happy with it because, well, he still doesn't have his family, so Odin offered him another prize instead. A free ticket the hell out of Valhalla, back to the lands of the living, full restoration of his cosmic Ghost Rider powers, and a one-way trip to any point in time he so desired. Mostly because Odin was sick of his shit. So Frank did the one thing almost any sensible person who's ever considered time travel has probably ever considered. I can go back in time to any point I want and probably change something that I don't like. Let's go kill baby Hitler. Only this Hitler is a 3-year-old Thanos, but he hesitates, and even for baby, Thanos is still, he's still formidable. And the penance stare doesn't work on baby Thanos because at this point in time, he's done nothing wrong. Not that it would have mattered anyway, adult Thanos was immune, but here, it's because he's truly innocent. So Frank does something he probably shouldn't have. He kidnaps baby Thanos, and they go on an excellent adventure. Sort of. While hanging out on some dustball no-name planet, we learned that Frank's logic is that if he can somehow show baby Thanos a different way of life, maybe, just maybe, he won't turn out to become the Mad Titan. It's a stretch, but hey, one can dream. The thing to take note of is that at every turn, baby Thanos is amused by the ideas of murder and serial killers and, well, getting sauced. It's kind of already in his DNA. Not only that, but baby Thanos, even at age 3, is already about that life. He will cut you. But the thing Cosmic Ghost Rider was waiting for on this backwoods mudball planet has finally arrived. Galactus. And though Cosmic Ghost Rider calms the people of the planet, telling them he will save them because, as we learned in Thor Ragnarok, that's what heroes do, he's really only letting them die with hope in their hearts. Yet another lesson Frank is unintentionally teaching Thanos that will make him a more dangerous Titan. But with chit-chatting the Devourer of Worlds having little effect, telepathy actually does the trick. Galactus sees their future, that they became allies and, dare one say it, friends. Though Galactus won't admit it. He's initially hurt by the idea that Frank would side with Thanos after his death, but realizes maybe, just maybe, Frank brought baby Thanos to him as a peace offering, and together they could end Thanos' reign of terror well before it ever started. But this is far and away from Frank's plan, and his very defiance in the face of the might of Galactus warrants the attention of Uatu, the Watcher. But he isn't here to simply witness a great change. He actually warns Frank that Thanos cannot be changed, not in the way that Frank wants at least. He is part of a universal constant and backed by an undefeated opponent. Death. Because death always wins in the end. She always gets what she wants, and if she wants Thanos to be her champion, so be it. What Uatu is here to bear witness to is the worst choice any living being in existence has ever made, as well as the immediate consequences thereof. And we don't have to wait long. Frank's undying committal to the plan does indeed bring immediate consequences. The Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. Only they didn't say frickin'. And also not the ones we know. Cable, Jubilee, Kamala Khan, who has become Captain Marvel and wields Steve Rogers' shield, Rocket Raccoon, who seems to have a mech suit made out of Groot, and now calls himself Iron Groot, and Howard the Duck as the freaking Juggernaut. So, Juggerduck? Frank tries desperately not to fight them because, trying to be a good role model, but the fight is gonna happen, whether he wants it or not, because the Guardians have come from a hellish future that was the direct result of Frank Castle raising Thanos, and they have come to put an end to it. But as before with Galactus, Frank gives no fucks about their messed up future. He's keeping baby Thanos. Speaking of Galactus, he's still hanging around and cuts in just in time to vaporize the Guardians of the Galaxy, minus Cable. Well, most of him. Galactus didn't do it to be nice, he only did it because he refuses to allow his heralds to be harmed. But the baby must die for the crime of killing Galactus, which is just enough time for what's left of Cable to body slide back to the future and return with the tools to wreck shop. Pym particles that, as of 5 minutes ago, he spent the last 20 years working on to create the perfect solution to stopping Galactus. Shrinking Galactus down to barely 2 inches tall, putting him down the barrel of his cosmic shotgun, and firing him off into the wild blue. But wait, there's more. Cable body slides again, returning with even more people itching to kill the Cosmic Ghost Rider and baby Thanos. Namely the Thing, Gambit, Cloak and Dagger, the Spider Mech, and Cosmic Ghost Rider wrecks them all the same, killing each and every one of them, causing Cable to slide even more heroes to this timeline, leading to Doctor Strange, X-23, Nightcrawler getting their shit pushed in, and then eventually War Machine, Mr. Fantastic, Rogue, Sabretooth, and then Cyclops again, until eventually Cable slides Hulk and Beta Ray Bill to the future, only to get their fades run too. Wolverine, Vision, Shatterstar, Captain America, Hulkbuster, Iron Man, Blade, Kitty Pryde, Medusa, Black Bolt, Star-Lord, Havoc, Storm, Nova, Spider-Girl, Moon Knight, Bucky Barnes, and what I assume is Quantum-era Psylocke, all of which are flying under the Guardians of the Galaxy banner, get either chopped in half, cosmic face blasted, shot to death, penance stared, or some combination of the previously mentioned executions, and maybe not even in that order. All wasted. Well, except for Deadpool, who seems to be hiding and photobombing. Fair play to him. All the while, baby Thanos is watching Frank Castle put in work, absorbing every death as a lesson in how to punish those who stand against you and what you stand for. Eventually, Old Man Cable and his final onslaught of Guardians, Kate Bishop, Magic, Iron Fist, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, and Lucha Spider-Man, finally lay Frank out, but when he finally regains consciousness, everyone who took him down is dead except for Old Man Cable, who's barely alive, if you can even call it that, and currently being beaten the rest of the way to death with his own metal arm. And it's all thanks to baby Thanos. With his last words, Old Man Cable tries to warn Frank that this baby Thanos is far worse than the Mad Titan of old, and he must kill him. But before he can finish why, his head is blown into jelly as a new challenger steps forward. The prodigal son has come to save his would-be father, Thanos. Fully grown and from the future, bearing his foster father's trademark Punisher skull. Not only that, but this Thanos has taken up the mantle of Punisher, much to Frank's chagrin, and for the first time, he finally sees undisputable proof that he fails in changing what Thanos will become. And as Cosmic Ghost Rider travels to the now future this supposed worst Thanos has crafted, he expects to find a ruined hellscape, only to be greeted with farmland and enchanting vistas. A landscape not unlike what Thanos came home to at the end of Avengers Infinity War. A realm both Frank and Thanos built together. A world where crime, predation, and terrorism do not exist. It's a place where children can be raised without fear and families can achieve their dreams. So maybe Frank didn't mess up after all. Unfortunately, Frank didn't live to see it. He was freed of his Ghost Rider curse and finally granted the mortality he once had, and natural causes took him. Supposedly. Because no sooner than Frank sees his own grave, it's here he finally sees the truth behind the lie. This is not a beautiful world, it's the hellscape he knew he'd find, the one that Cable warned him about, as he bears witness to a land behind the farms and rolling hills, overrun with war-torn buildings, still burning from the war that raised them, and statues depicting Thanos' conquest. To hear Thanos tell it, they were simply being punished for not sharing his quotey fingers vision. That they chose to be criminals and fugitives of the law, that the people who survived and refused to be good, are now subjugated and held in detention camps, not too dissimilar from the ones the mutants in Days of Future Past were held in. He only sees these people as animals, and as far as he's concerned, this is exactly what Frank taught him to do, to punish the weak, to kill those who stand against him, and most importantly, to be merciless. Even baby Thanos can't see how Frank is so surprised. He left people to die at the hands of Galactus. He killed mercilessly in the name of Thanos, and what's the difference between killing people and simply doing nothing to keep them from dying? Out of the mouths of children. Well, how can this Thanos be so much worse than the one we already had? Hell, he just killed people all the time. Here's the thing you gotta think about. That was a Thanos who was doing everything to impress death. And even when he wasn't trying to impress death, he was just a sadistic son of a bitch. This is a Thanos who is all of those things, but now he's doing those same things with a misplaced sense of justice. And the only thing more dangerous than a sick, sadistic, mass-murdering, genocidal son of a bitch is a sick, sadistic, mass-murdering, genocidal son of a bitch who is doing it and thinks that he's doing nothing wrong, that he is doing good, that he is out here doing the Lord's work. Not too dissimilar from the Thanos from the MCU. That Thanos thought that he was doing the right thing, and this Thanos thinks he is too. That makes him that much more dangerous. Thanos feels he is truly protecting something, not just the ideals Frank supposedly instilled in him, but the life Frank wanted, even showing him what appears to be Frank and his wife alive and well, because with their new lease on time, when the criminals came to kill Frank Castle and his family, Thanos killed them first. The problem is, if this is what came to pass, it finally dawns on Frank that he wouldn't choose this path. Something must have happened, and we now know Thanos did what Thanos always does. He killed those who stood against him. And because Frank denied him, Thanos killed Frank Castle. And now that Frank has a gun to baby Thanos' temple, grown man Thanos is done playing games, beating Frank within an inch of his life for what that's worth to an immortal, and offers him a chance at redemption as his herald. But this is Frank Castle. He may have made this mistake before, but he refuses to make it again. And before going in to finish what he started, he warns baby Thanos that he doesn't have to be anything he doesn't want to be. And far away from his young, impressionable eyes, the fight continues. And it's here Frank reveals he's more powerful than Thanos ever realized. That Thanos has no idea how much he must hold back his cosmic power just so he doesn't destroy the planets that he walks upon. And though he viewed Thanos as a son, his true children are dead, and now that Thanos has been brought low, penance must be dished out. But wait a minute, Thanos is immune to the penance stare, you may remember, and trust me, this Thanos remembers too. Only this is no stare, only penance. And this is true punishment, enough to kill even a Mad Titan, whose remaining skull is crumbled into dust in Cosmic Ghost Rider's hands. And with Thanos killed and Hope unwittingly giving Frank Cable's teleporter, he can finally go home and even takes baby Thanos, who Quotey Fingers, not Punisher Frank Castle, and his wife seemed quite taken with, up until legit Frank comes calling. And even his wife notices that this is the future Frank, but there's nothing he can do for her because once he returns baby Thanos to his original place and time, this alternate timeline will no longer exist. He only hopes that if nothing else, maybe some of what happened will teach baby Thanos to not become the monster that he was, or worse. Something you can guarantee will happen anyway, because this young baby Thanos, trust me, he remembers everything he saw. Baby Thanos is salty as hell about the fact that Frank undid all this, that Frank returned him to his timeline. I don't know about you guys, but I have a 3-year-old. My daughter Cersei, if I started allowing her to watch all the awesome, violent, gory, and insane horror movies and action movies that I normally watch, and then suddenly said she couldn't anymore, she'd be pissed. I know this from experience. Regardless, Frank Castle won't allow himself to become a child killer. And of course, because Thanos is Death's champion, Death is there to thank Frank Castle for returning her champion to where he belongs. Because as she states, nothing can change the path her champion is set upon. It is always set in stone, and nothing in the universe can change that. And that she has many champions, implying that Frank is also one of her chosen. And knowing this, and finally seeing that nothing can change the destiny set before you, he still says fuck it and rides off into the cosmos to see if he can change it anyway. This is kind of where they leave it off for Cosmic Ghost Rider to join the Guardians of the Galaxy and potentially become a much bigger part of the greater Marvel universe. Now, like any good story, it poses as many questions as it answers, but one thing I can definitely say is that I like the fact that Cosmic Ghost Rider got a chance of redemption, learning a very valuable lesson in the fact that some people just can't change because that's just who they are. But how exactly is Cosmic Ghost Rider going to destroy the history of the Marvel universe? That part's a whole other story. Only the Celestials may know. But anyways, let me know what you thought about Donny Cates' Cosmic Ghost Rider. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap that bell so you know when I post up. And if you want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons as well, swing on over by patreon.com/blerdwithoutfear. And if you chuck in a buck, you can get some exclusive content. And if you don't want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons, that's fine too. Hey, all I ask is that you like this video and share it with your friends. And who knows, maybe they'll become some of Earth's mightiest subscribers too. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and while you're here, go ahead and check out some of these other videos I got floating around here. But until next time, Plus Ultra!